3, Lesson 6, Negative Exponents continued. We're going to go over the same I can statements as we had yesterday. We're going to continue on those. Now today we're going to add multiplying in before we do any simplifying of the negative exponents or the zero exponents. Example number 1. First of all, it says, today now, we don't leave our answers in exponential form. Today it says, write each expression in simplest form using only positive exponents. And then it said, evaluate all of your exponents. So, first one, letter A. We have 2 to the 6th power times 2 to the negative 4. Now we've learned that what do? We add the exponents when we're going across here. So we have the base is 2 and 6 plus a negative 4, battle of the integers. We have 2 to the 2nd power. Now we're not leaving it in exponential form, so it equals, that means 2 times 2. Our final answer, simplified, is 4. Alright, let's go to letter B. We have x to the negative 12 times x to the negative 9 equals, well, our base is x. Now we're adding, we got a negative 12 plus my negative 9, battle of the integers, combining, we're not multiplying, so it's not a negative times a negative is a positive. We're combining, we're adding them. Two negatives together give me a bigger negative of a negative 21. Now we take what we learned from yesterday, we have to have all positive exponents in our answers. So therefore, we need the reciprocal. That equals, put that x to the 21st down here, 1. We have 1 over x to the 21st for your final answer. Letter C. Now we learned earlier this week that when we divide, we subtract our exponents. So we're going to have 4 minus 9. That gives me a negative 5. So I'm going to have x, because 4 minus 9 is a negative 5. So I'm going to have x to the negative 5th power. And we're not allowed to have any negative exponents. So simplify the reciprocal, x to the 5th power. 1 over x to the 5th power is your final simplified answer. Now, on letter D, don't let this trick you. I'm going to write it bigger. 8x to the 0 over x to the negative 3. Now, you don't want to get tricked here because this 8x is not in parentheses. So this whole thing does not equal 1. You look at the 0 and think, oh, but Mrs. Lennon, everything to the 0 power equals 1. It does if this was in parentheses, but it's not. So that 0 exponent belongs only to your x. So this part equals 1. And this means times, so I have 8 times 1. 8 times 1 is 8. So my numerator is 8. And then I still have x to the negative 3 here. I'm not done. We're not allowed to have negative exponents. So what is this going to equal? The reciprocal, x to the 3rd power up here, and then 8 is positive. We don't need to move that or use its reciprocal, so bring that over. We have 8x to the 3rd on top and our 1 to the bottom. That I would accept. However, the best answer, since 1 is your denominator, the best answer is just 8x to the 3rd power. Final answer. All right, let's go on. Letter E. I want to write this bigger. Now here we have the parentheses. So we have 2 to the 3rd power to the negative 2 power. Now we learned earlier that you multiply, when you have a power to a power, we multiply these two. So my base is 2, and now 3 times a negative 2 is a negative 6. Can't have a negative exponent. So let's do the reciprocal. That goes here, 2 to the 6th power over 1. Now I can simplify this number, 2 to the 6th power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2's. multiply all of those, and what do you come up with? 64. So this equals 1 over, because this, when you multiply them all out, you get 64. 1 over 64 for your final answer for E. All right, let's look at F. This one's pretty simple. Multiplying my exponents, my base is x. We know in the past a negative times a negative is a positive. So a positive 3 times, or negative 3 times a negative 5 gives me a positive 15. I have a positive exponent. No moving or simplifying necessary. There's my answer. Now this one, this is all in parentheses to the 0 power, so that whole thing equals 1. Because if you were to multiply, you'd have 3 to the 0 times x to the 0. Well, that equals 1, that equals 1, still get 1. So it's in parentheses. The whole evaluated answer is 1. Now don't let this one trick you, all right? We learned that this is 7 times x. There's 2 factors in here to the negative 3 power. So these all have that assumed 1. Multiply. This is going to be 7 to the 1 times negative 3 is a negative 3 power. 1 times negative 3, we're going to have x to the negative 3 power. All right? We cannot have negative exponents, so let's take this and use the reciprocal. You're going to have down here 7 to the 3rd power, oops, x to the 3rd power over 1. Now we're not quite 100% done yet because you have this 7 to the 3rd power that we can evaluate yet. That's 7 times 7 times 7, not 7 times 3, all right? So we're going to have 1 over, and 7 times 7 times 7 is 343, and then we still have our x cubed. Final answer. All right. Let's go on now. We are on letter I. All right. Now remember, when we have an exponent out here and we have a fraction, you have to also multiply the numerator and the denominator. So that's going to be 1 to the negative 2 power all over 4 to the negative 2 power. All right? Because they have that assumed 1. Now we can't have negative exponents, so we need to do the reciprocals. We will have 4 to the 2nd power over 1 to the 2nd power. Now I can simplify these. That means 4 times 4. My numerator will be 16 over 1 squared. Don't say 2. That's 1 times 1 still equals 1. So I'd accept that as an answer. Or better yet, 16. Okay, and the final last answer, or problem that we need to work on, let me erase this, give us some room. Now again, multiply your numerator and your denominator. So I'm going to have 3, these have an assumed 1, 3 to the negative 4 power over x to the negative 4 power equals, well, we need to simplify. No negative attitudes here. Let's send them to the basement and send them to the attic, all right? Reciprocals, that goes down here, 3 to the 4th power. This up here, x to the 4th power. Not quite done. What can I simplify yet? I can still simplify the 3 to the 4th power. That means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. All right, so my final answer is x to the 4th power over 81. When you multiply these, you get 81. So x to the 4th power over 81. All right, you need to do your packet worksheets. It's pages 3 and 4 in your packet to go along with the notes.